So Devon, roughly how many wild pigs is there estimated to be in Manitoba? It's hard to get an exact number, I know, but what is the rough estimation?
Yeah, I'll say it's very difficult to know how many pigs. And I think it changes quite a bit from year to year and even season to season.
Okay.
But, I'd say a good estimate is what we're saying as an estimate is, a few hundred to up to maybe 1,000 at most.
Okay.
And
Depending
I think
on how
that's
successful a birthing year they've had,
exactly.
too, or breeding year. So,
yeah. So, and I actually think that's very high.
Okay.
Because of, even though we do get quite a bit of public reported sightings, these pigs move around a lot.
Right.
So if you look on a map and you see, areas that are covered basically across Manitoba, prairies of dots and stuff,
Right.
That could be just a few pigs actually moving around, and we see it. We
Given
see it
their
on our
range.
data.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult because even though we get populations of, someone might say 5 or 6, and then again they might be 10 kilometers over, somebody sees them, or then a month later somebody sees them. Like it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So the public reporting is key though.
Yeah.
And then, but between the cell cameras and then again, our thermal drones are very useful in getting exact numbers. We can fly over basically a whole region in a day and 10 miles, 15 mile area, and fly over cornfields or marshlands or forest and actually count how many are in that area. Yeah, that's still just it's an estimate basically at this point.
Okay.
And through the winter, we do see a lot of natural mortality. Like, they are surviving, but I'm not going to say they're thriving out here.
Yeah, it can be tough. Yeah, for sure. Minus 29.
Oh yes, yeah. And I think this year in particular, like, we walked through. There's lots of corn sitting on the ground. Harvest was great. Like, it was dry conditions. So there's lots of grain on the ground right now, but harvest isn't pushed back into November where there's snow on the ground and a lot of loss, which will keep pigs fed a lot longer through the year. So in another month or so, there's not going to be a lot of food out there on those fields and ag lands for them to eat. And the acorns, which they rely on, they dropped already a month ago.
Right.
So although last year was excellent for them, we had a mild winter, lots of acorns as well. This year might not be so great for those pigs. So just not between that natural mortality, like, yeah, it makes a huge difference on population year to year. So,
how many breeding seasons does the wild pigs have? Is there more than one? And how many piglets, I guess, do they have on average per litter?
Yeah, that they basically reproduce year round.
Okay.
So they're just constantly, naturally in reproducing.
Okay.
Whether those piglets survive though is a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing too. Like, if there's piglets being born even right now, very few of those will actually make it through the winter if it's a tough winter. Even ones of the year, if it's a very tough year, we've seen in past years when we have really tough winters, it's typically just the larger, like 150 to plus pound pigs that actually survive. Anything under a year old or under that weight, they just lose so much body mass, and especially March, April, it's very hard on them.
Yeah.
So they are reproducing year round, but not saying everything's surviving.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing in particular, again, our pigs, is that they have to be quite old. So probably in a 2-year stage before they actually are reproducing.
Okay.
Definitely they have to be over a certain weight, and our pigs grow fairly slow. So we are seeing a bit slower reproduction out here. But that doesn't mean that they can't have larger litters. We have seen ranges from 2 piglets up to about a dozen. So normally I think it's probably closer around 4 or 5, but we have seen some larger litters out here. So
yeah, in order for them to grow too, I guess there might be competition for food within the sounder too.
Oh,
so
definitely.
The younger ones maybe wouldn't get the same advantage as a large one because it might eat more food and hence lack or less survivability then too, potentially.
Yeah.
Definitely
when we see sows like going on cameras and stuff, they're leaving and they come back, like they stay away from the other group for quite a while because they know all the other pigs are going to be in competition with that. And pigs they're kind of brutal. They'll attack and basically feed on them, the other little piglets. So especially the large boars. Yeah, it's a tough go for them. So yeah.
So Devon, what's a good way for people to report a wild pig if they happen to see one?
Yeah, so we have a 1-800 number that they can go onto. If they go onto our website, squealonpigs.org, they'll see a few ways they can report those pigs. And it also gives some more information about wild pigs and yeah, how to see signs and stuff.
Okay.
But the best way on there is through our website. We have a form, and they can fill out the information on there and add their email address. If they have photos, they can email. They can get more information. That is by far the best way, and it has been very successful, I guess. And we are getting a lot of reports throughout the year. It varies who's reporting throughout the year. We get a lot of night reports, people driving around, because our pigs are mainly nocturnal.
Okay.
People see them crossing the roads at night and stuff like that. Which is great. That's a great way to report it. We know that something's moving through that spot.
Right.
And then just farmers, when they see damage on their fields, that like this time of year, as harvest is winding up, people are going through the fields. They're seeing rooting damage along the edges,
Yeah.
and that's key, just to let us know where that is. So,
Terrific. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, Devon.
yeah, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.